not like this picture frame. Get up here.
Aw, she's scared of it?
Charlie, come on. Hi.
Oh,
Oh, not in front of the computer.
our third host is here.
Our honorary host. Oh, you can't see her on the camera. She's just off camera, being lazy. How are we doing, everybody? How's everybody doing after? Yeah, I mean, obviously they see the title of the episode.
No, I think the more important question is, how was your birthday?
Oh, me completely just like jumping up. It was good. It was a great way to turn 21, and I want to say thank you to everybody for the very kind and sweet messages that I was receiving all day. Me trying to put this in an eloquent manner to try to express my gratitude to you guys for making my birthday so great and special. I appreciate all of you. And also shout out to Sarah. She got I'm wearing this shirt in honor of it. She sent me a package and it arrived on my birthday. And it has this cute sweatshirt that is so cute and girly. And it says, written by Sarah J. Maas.
Yay.
And it's appropriate for today's episode, so I thought I would wear it.
Perfect timing.
It is perfect. So yeah, I had a good birthday. I took all the decorations down because I don't know if anybody else is like this, but after it like it's the night of my birthday, I get sad and I want to take everything down. Like I don't even want to talk. Like I'm just like,
it's not your birthday
it's
anymore.
done. But my mom got like these heart balloons that are still attached to my bed because I'm like, it's Valentine's Day decor. It's not birthday decor, it's Valentine's Day decor. So it literally looks like my bed is gonna like float away with the amount of balloons that are tied to it.
No, that's cute.
It's like comical.
She decorated so cute. If you didn't see the pictures that Destiny posted, there was the picture frames of everything that she put up with the cake and everything. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I know. I was like, my mom loves doing the little like design, like to set up your little like table and stuff for your birthday. Yeah, I loved I don't eat cake, but I did cut into it and served up my family size of the cake. The cake was beautiful. It was like a little books in the slices, and I was like, wow, this is a great birthday.
Aww.
So I had a great birthday.
Yay.
I kept the blown up posters because I love them, and I put Kingdom of Ash and House of Sky and Breath are behind me. If you guys are watching visually and you guys are like, what is that? That's not the usual decorations. That's what that is.
Yeah, I have all the series behind me, but you can't see Crescent City's all by itself over there, but in the camera you can see some of them. I also wore my Enemies to Lovers t-shirt from House of Jupiter because I didn't have any other Sarah J. Maas ones. Only Soul Lorcan did, but I wore that last week, I think. For the past 2 days, I was like, but I wanted to honor Sarah and wearing the sweatshirt, so that was more important to me. But also, I had been, for the past 2 days, I ordered the Massiverse drop from Shop House Jupiter, and I was like, oh, that would be perfect, because we're talking about the Massiverse today, but I was like, no, I have to do Sarah her due diligence and wear this adorable sweater, so thanks.
That was a choice I made today. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Massiverse.
Yes. In honor
today
of
and
the new release, but don't worry, if you have not read some series, we will be telling you when we will start talking about each one.
As always, I will make sure that there are timestamps down below for you guys to know like when the certain sections are popping up. We're going to try to keep it as close as possible. What I'm kind of thinking is that we're going to do ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, Crescent City, and then there's going to be a section for those of you who have read all three of them for us to interchangeably talk about, like theories and all of that stuff that we may have about any and everything that can only apply to people who may have read like all three series. So I'm going to have those timestamps down below, but do please understand this before we get into it. When we are talking about a certain series, it is going to be full spoiler. So if you have not read the series in its entirety yet, unfortunately, do not listen to that section because we will just be interchangeably talking about the books.
We'll also audibly let you know spoilers are starting again, so you guys don't hear anything you don't want to.
And with that being said, should we get into our dotes? What we're going to be sipping on as we spill some tea about these fictional characters.
Do you want to go first? What's your dote?
So, I have an Olipop.
Oh, what flavor is that?
I have the classic root beer. Ooh. This and I think it's the cherry cola one are my absolute faves. I freaking love these things. I don't know. Have you ever tried a pop? Are they called poppies?
Yeah. I've had poppies before. I think I like these ones better.
I've never tried poppies, but I don't know if I even... Oh, I just got this all over my bed. It literally just tastes like root beer.
Yeah, I don't think I like root beer.
Oh.
I just have water. I got an Awala.
Aw, you look like a koala when you drink it.
Why is it called Awala? Is there like a...
That people say it's because you look like a koala when you drink it.
How do koalas drink?
Well, no, like, so when you put the bottle up to your face, like the way that the mouthpiece is on the nose, like if you take a selfie of yourself while like lifting it to your face, you look like a koala.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I learned about it on TikTok.
I do love koalas, so love that. Oh, they have some funky, like, you can't just get like a pink one. Like, their colorways are so interesting, like the different colors they put with them. Like, I would have never put some of these colors together, you know? So interesting, the colors they pick.
I have a Spider-Man koala, Awala, whatever the heck it's called. I have a Spider-Man one, and then I have like some other ones too. But yeah, their color combinations are crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know which one to choose. I just wanted a plain one, but they had so many different options over there. Colors I would never think together.
I love it because it has a built-in straw.
So why is it the coolest thing ever? I also found these 2 quizzes we could take at the end.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
One is to find out who our mates are, or like which boy from the whole universe we're with, and the other one is to find out which female character we are.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
But yeah, we can start with ACOTAR. That was the first one we both read, right?
Yeah, that's what, because I was like, well, actually, because I was going to say, because we read it in order of ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, Crescent City, but I actually read ACOTAR, Crescent City, Throne of Glass. So
yeah, you did. That's so interesting. I guess because anyway, yeah, I read ACOTAR first. I think it was in 2022 or was it 2021?
Yes,
2022. Was that what it was?
Yeah,
I don't really remember why. I wasn't really reading fantasies either. I think I just read it because I saw everyone saying to read it.
Yeah, ACOTAR. So ACOTAR was so interesting to me because when I like got into book talk, we'll say circa 2020, right before Christmas time. Like, I remember book talk kind of came across my For You page. I mean, the OG book talk. I'm talking the Punk 57, It Ends With Us. Like, ACOTAR is like OG book talk to me, even though it's like still here. It's like still engraved in us all. But I remember seeing people like, because we've talked about it before on the pod, like how people used to say like they would take Punk 57 to school and have their like guy friends read the like whatever. I remember like people doing that with ACOTAR and like showing the tabs of ACOTAR and being like, oh, the like whatever scenes. Also, can we talk about how that was so over exaggerated? Like, honestly, when you think of the ACOTAR series,
it's the last thing
people were like, oh, it's so like what? I'm like, I did not think so.
And then you get to the last book though.
Yeah, that one's a different. That's a whole entire different whatever. But I remember just seeing it all over like OG book talk. You have to think, like, I didn't even grow up reading Harry Potter or anything. I think is that the case for both of us? We both never read Harry Potter. I like the farthest I would go into like a fantasy was just like The Hunger Games or Divergent or like Twilight. Like, that was like the biggest like leap. I never read Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, nothing. So I didn't really, fantasy didn't interest me. My first ever fantasy book that I read was The Cruel Prince, and then I read From Blood and Ash. Those were like that was my experience going into ACOTAR. And so when I read ACOTAR, I was like, it's just because it's like an OG book. And actually somebody sent me ACOTAR from my Amazon wish list. I want to find out who that was, because shout out to that girl. That changed my life forever. Because they sent me ACOTAR and they're like, I want you to read this. And that like prompted me to go and make a video about reading ACOTAR. And my life was forever changed. Yeah. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I think the first fantasy I also read was Cruel Prince. I like can't remember, but I think it was that, and I like did not enjoy it like at all. I also think because reading primarily romance, you're looking for the romance in the fantasy, and you don't realize there's a lot of world building and politics that are just really boring if you don't really read fantasy. But ACOTAR, I think, was the first one that I was actually really interested in it, which I thought was funny. Reading the first one, I thought I was going to be very bored with it, but I don't know if it's because I never really read fantasy, so reading that one, everything that was happening was really interesting to me. And like when there's like little like small plot twists or things happening, I was like shook. And I feel like that happens with like, well, to bring up Fourth Wing, but like when it expands out to different people that don't read fantasy, like it's exciting and like you don't expect things to happen. So that's, I think when I read it, I enjoyed it a lot more. I think if I read ACOTAR now, the first one, I don't think I would enjoy the first one as much as I did when I first read it. Like it wouldn't have been my favorite in the series. But when I first read it, I loved it. I thought it was so good. Like a good start to what was to come, because when I first read it, it wasn't like, I guess, as it was big. It's always been big, but like as widespread as it is now. So I didn't really know where it was going to go after the first one, and I was taken caught off guard when you continue the series. But I feel like now it's kind of more knowledgeable of characters and stuff that happens, even if you've never read it.
Yeah.
So it's harder to stay away from spoilers. But when I first read it, I had no idea where it was going to go, so I was completely shook.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I remember hearing of like certain characters going into the book, but I didn't know like, and I have to think, even my knowledge of books back then, that was so much different of like around the book community. Like, even if somebody talked about a character, it didn't necessarily mean to me that that was like the main love interest or anything. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think anything of it when I heard of characters and stuff, because I went in knowing like the characters' names, and I was like, I don't know what they mean, but I know that they're important, and I know that this is going to be a big deal for some reason. And yeah, it's just so funny the way that you go into it back then versus like you even go into fantasy books now when you pick them up, because you have like a preconceived thought already for what you like in fantasy books, so you kind of like know.
Yeah.
I also agree though that ACOTAR, like I love it because I love the ACOTAR series so much. Even when I did my reread though, I was like, yeah, it's just like it has first book that feeling, because even with the Throne of Glass series, Crescent City not as much, but also still, that the first book doesn't feel like anything like the rest of the series when you get into it. Like it feels like a completely different plot and story.
It's crazy where the fantasy, I feel like just fantasy series in general, where they go after the first book, because they kind of just set up for so much to happen, especially Sarah J Maas does this in her series. The first book, you don't expect where it's going to go. You can really never guess, but she plants little seeds in the first books all the way throughout the whole series, which is so crazy. Like writing a fantasy,
like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, can't even imagine how much you need to like hint at in the beginning without outright saying it, and then once you get to like the last book or further in, you're like, wow, that makes sense.
She is genuinely, I feel like she just does it differently, because you'll even like get drawbacks to things that you thought like didn't have any type of meaning in the mastermind of it all, from even just like different characters throughout the series having like mastermind moments. Crazy. She's different. She's built different.
Yeah, I feel like she said before that she doesn't even look up, like she's not really on the social media with everyone posting their theories and stuff, so everything that she writes really is from her imagination and her brain, which is so crazy, because I feel like if this, not that it would ever be me, but if it were me, I feel like seeing theories from what readers want to happen or see what they're saying, I feel like would help the story. But she literally just takes everything from her brain into the book, and it's crazy.
Yeah, because with a lot of her stories, they're things that she's thought out for years. So you also have to think like, if she did, like her personally, like if she did look at theories, I feel like it would almost like mess with what she's already thought up in her head a little bit. And I just think like, I'm just like, how do you have that big of a brain to be like, yeah, everything's going to come together. Even something that like I have mentioned 2 books ago, just sparingly is going to matter, and it's going to mean something.
Like read every single word and retain everything that she says, because it will come back even if it doesn't seem like it's important.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just, I will say, if we were to break down right now, for those of you who may not have read all of Sarah J Maas, we can both speak on this, on what we feel personally, how I would say to start into Sarah J Maas. I would say to start with ACOTAR. I feel like it's the most simple plot and world. I feel like it's the most simple world to understand as well from her books, and it's just the easiest to grasp of like, if you don't really read fantasy or you're trying to get into Sarah J Maas, I feel like ACOTAR is the best way to start. And then I would say to go into Throne of Glass. I do feel that Throne of Glass, once you start getting into it, I feel like if you're not a fantasy reader, like you haven't read like a lot of fantasy, it may be a little bit harder to get into, because I feel like Throne of Glass is the most political of all of her series, like the most political in webs of just different places. And then I would say to go into Crescent City, personally. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with ACOTAR first. I think if you want to start out with the Sarah J Maas series, that's definitely the first one. I think that, not just because I think it's an easier read, but I think also, like you said, the other two are more not confusing. I just think it's the easier series to start with, to also understand her writing style and everything like that. Honestly, I don't really know what I would say about the next one, because I just personally love Throne of Glass so much that I don't even think any other book could ever live, or series could live up to it. So yeah, but Crescent City's also they're big books and they're very intricate, and there's a lot more of your brain working while reading it. So yes. I would say Throne of Glass, because of the experience you get with Throne of Glass, like, you just gotta do it. But I also agree that it definitely is most like about like the world and the politics of everything. You don't really get the there's romance in it, but it's not like the romance you're gonna get from ACOTAR. It's definitely ACOTAR first, but in Throne of Glass, I feel like starting Throne of Glass, I think the first few books you get, they're definitely different from the rest of the series, but I think they're easy to grasp, and they're easy to read as well. So I guess, yeah, Crescent City third, because they're like the most like intricate. You're getting so much thrown at you.
Yeah. I also feel like if you're a romantasy reader, like all of Sarah J. Maas's books do have subplots of romance that I do feel are strong, in the sense of like when you look at other books that are just strictly political and there's just like a tiny sliver of romance. I would definitely say she's very romantasy-esque, but I would say ACOTAR is 100% romantasy. Like, I feel like the romance plot is just as strong as the like subplot of what's going on in those books. But honestly, if we're talking about Throne of Glass, like, it's very much a subplot. Like, we don't really focus on the romance, and I would honestly say the same thing about Crescent City. We don't necessarily focus on romance in those books either.
I think Throne of Glass more than Crescent City, because Throne of Glass, you have so many characters, and not just like the main character that you're kind of following. All the side ones end up having, well, I guess you'll see other like romantic interests and stuff. There's more storylines you're kind of following, where I feel like Crescent City, it's like a very small subplot.
Oh, yeah. I think there's just too much going on in Crescent City for the romance subplot to be a big thing, honestly.
But I think in Throne of Glass, like, there's so much going on and so many characters that I think there's more romance in that than the Crescent City. But definitely ACOTAR has the most. And I think that's why starting there is good, because you can, like, latch on to the romance of what's going on along with, like, the politics that come up.
Yeah, I feel like it helps, especially if you're not a big fantasy reader, that I feel like you can still enjoy the romance of it a lot, but like you said, like, maybe dip your toes in the water to see if you do enjoy fantasy, because I mean, fantasy's not for everybody.
No, but what I appreciate about ACOTAR is like getting into it. I think the first two books you kind of see like the romance happening, and once you get further in, I think the politics kind of get a little bit heavier, but you're already like into it for the romance and the fantasy, that it's like easier to read about the politics. You're more interested and you want to know about the world and stuff. So I like the way that it's kind of, each book is set up.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy that too. If we were to rank series upon, I mean, there's 3 series, from favorite to least favorite. I know you're ranking, but just go ahead and say it.
Throne of Glass. Hold on. ACOTAR, and then Crescent City. I think until Crescent City's completed, I'll be able to answer that, or both of them maybe are completed. Not that I like Crescent City more, but where it could go, I think could be really interesting. But right now, Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City.
Yeah, I actually don't know what my number one series is. I don't know, because I get so, like, if we're talking, I don't even know though, because like when we even bring in the romance of it, I love the romance in Throne of Glass and in ACOTAR, but I love the guy from ACOTAR so much. But I'm like, do I love the romance or do I love the man? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when you start thinking about that. But I love the romance of Throne of Glass, and I love the just world and how everything ends up connecting, and just like the emotional, like the emotions that you go through throughout the entirety. There's nothing like it. So honestly, I think I would do the same, where it's like Throne of Glass, because you have to think all in all, like everything, plot, everything. Throne of Glass. ACOTAR's not finished yet, so I don't know where we're going to go with that. But ACOTAR was originally just going to be the first 3 books, and then it was going to end there. And then Sarah J. Maas decided to continue it. And I feel like that's very transparent. I feel like ACOWAR was very final. Like, there could have been no other books after ACOWAR. Like, I feel like you feel that when you end the book. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really like
you know. But so I would definitely say Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, then Crescent City. I love Crescent City, but I don't feel that connection with the characters like the other two books.
Yeah, I still like Crescent City. I just compared, I guess, the other ones. I don't know what happened when I read Throne of Glass. It like changed me as a person.
It'll do it. That'll do it. Truly, it will. But I was trying to think of other just, you know, all in all Sarah J. Maas, but now I feel like we should get into talking about the series specifically, because I feel like that's like the broadest like things that we could talk about.
Let's do it.
So I think it would just be the most simple to start with ACOTAR, since there's the least amount of books, in the sense that like Crescent City is like 800 pages each, so they're like so long. But ACOTAR, the curse of the curse that what most people fall for in the first book.
What curse? Oh. I honestly, I have the series. I kind of match them.
Yay. You do?
I just hold them on a platter the whole time we talk about them.
Yeah.
The first one, I think, like I said when we were talking about it, when I first read it, I guess like you said, I knew the names of people, but I like very vaguely knew Rhys's name. But when I was reading the first one and then I read his name, it sparked something in me, and I was like, wait. Like something about seeing his name, even when you like read it briefly somewhere, like you know he's going to be important, even if you don't really know who he is. But I will say, reading the first one, I'm going to say it. I liked Tamlin, okay? I liked him with her.
Listen,
I appreciated that
everybody goes through it.
I know. Well, he took her captive in the first one, and okay, yeah, he ended up being not the best, but he didn't hold her captive in like a dungeon, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like he took her to
yeah,
he let her paint.
No. Listen, valid. Because even when I did my reread, I think I said this in the video, but everything blurs together at some point when you make so many. But I think I said this, that even after like doing the reread, going back and looking at Tamlin as a character, he like, I feel like we need to dive into him more without being a love interest. I just feel like sometimes I feel like he just had so much going on. And sometimes I try to understand the thought process behind the downfall, because really, like, yeah, the fiddle, I mean, like, how did I look past that upon the first read of ACOTAR? Like, how did I read that he was playing her the fiddle? And I was like, okay, slay. I don't know how. But you know what I mean? Like, he also had just came from under the mountain, 50 years of the masks on the face and, like, you know, all of that stuff. Like, he was also going through stuff for years that he was trying to like take care of and handle. And you also have to think, like, love Rhys. Rhys was also putting on this act for everybody. So you also have to think that Tamlin doesn't know Rhys. Like, he does not know like the real-ish Rhys. He only knows the Rhys from before Amarantha and then like during Amarantha. So he probably thought that Rhys just turned into this like terrible guy. Keep in mind, they both murdered each other's families. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just a complex character.
Yeah. I think eventually, well, obviously him and Fair weren't meant to be, and he just wanted to protect her and save her, but not in a way that he should have. He should have let her, you know, do her thing. I don't really remember the details of the story, or I don't really remember them like right now, but I don't hate Tamlin. Is that bold to say?
I say that too. I say that too because I think that he's going through a lot, and I feel like he does not know how to channel those emotions.
Yeah, he needs his time by himself.
Yeah. Also, think about this. Rhys has his whole entire inner circle and all these people backing him. Everybody left Tamlin. Tamlin is in the Spring Court all by himself. Yeah. Like, nobody is there. Lucian left. Like, he does not have anyone.
I know. Wasn't in ACOTAR the huge big meeting? Didn't he show up by himself?
Yes.
Not me feeling bad for Tamlin right now.
No, like, and then he does go on in that meeting to then say genius things about Feyre.
He has his moments that are like, oh, okay, I do not like him. He's not a good character. We don't like Tamlin, but...
No, I don't like Tamlin's character, but I don't hate Tamlin. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, because I just think that you have to understand that he absolutely, like,
him and Feyre should not be together. He was ignoring every single like warning sign that Feyre was putting out. He was not thinking of Feyre in the way, but also I think that just as a character, he was thinking that he was doing the right thing by protecting Feyre, by trapping her in the house, because in his thought process, when she got out of the house, that's when everything went bad. So as long as I keep her here, nothing bad can happen to her.
Yeah, but he didn't see what she was going through, and he didn't care enough to check up on what was happening to her when he was like holding her in the house. So yeah, he definitely,
and the temper was a problem as well.
Yeah, he definitely is not a likable with the actions that he does, but I don't hate him. Like if he had a happy ending somewhere down the line, good for him.
No, I want Tampon to have a happy ending, because I feel like we need to dissect his character and he needs to have his healing moment. Because here's the thing, like Rhys gets this understanding and like self-healing chapter, you know what I mean? Like he's done some things that he's not proud of and he gets to accept that and okay, Charlie, and move on from it and like learn. But we're not giving Tamlin that same energy though.
Yeah, I truly do think down the line somewhere maybe she'll put something out there of Tamlin and his, either where he ends up, or I remember like the basics of the series, but the one thing I don't remember is that novella. No idea what happens in that novella.
That novella honestly is hard to read after. Well, no, I like it because it feels like when you're watching your like favorite TV show and it's like their holiday special. Like like, there's nothing really to the plot. It's just like a nice slice of happy life after the war and like everything they've been through.
I understand that, but I just like I can't see her throwing out like a happy little holiday special for Throne of Glass or like Crescent Sea. Like it feels so random to me.
It definitely is random because she hasn't done it for anything else. Just but also, I think it was also to serve as kind of a like prelude into what was going to happen in Nesta's book. Yeah. Because also a big theme of the entire thing was how Nesta was doing after the war and like what she was doing to the family and where she was at, and her and Cassian, and so I feel like it was also to serve this like, this is what's going on and this is kind of what you have to look into for, because I feel like honestly A Court of Silver Flames is where you pivot the entire series.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the same like flow of the series.
No, not at all.
I tried to watch the recap of it. I don't even know if I could talk about it.
I remember when I read ACOTAR for the first time, and I can literally go back and watch it. Hey, that's crazy. But when she went under the mountain, what do we say about the last 100 or so pages of a Sarah J. Maas novel? It's nothing but pure adrenaline rushing through your body because you do not know what's going to happen next. That was crazy. To read that for the first time, you're like, I don't even know what, like all of a sudden, Rhys is helping Feyre.
Oh, we're talking about the first book?
We're all falling in love with him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're all falling in love with Rhys at that point. As soon as they made that bargain, I was a goner. Just as Feyre was.
I don't think I turned then. I didn't even know what to think until the second book.
I remember like feeling it. Like I was like, okay, wait. Because when Tamlin sat there after like all of this stuff was going on and he just didn't do anything.
Yeah,
and
that was
he
wild.
used his one free moment that Rhys stuck his neck out on the line for and tried to like seduce Feyre. Really? Hey, she's dying out there. Poor girl can't read, almost got Lucien killed. I love seeing the memes about that, by the way, of Lucien being like, realizing that Feyre like can't read, and he's just sitting there like,
your
oh
life
my
is
God.
in the hands of someone that can't read for,
like, I'm gonna die. But just everything that happened under the mountain, like also Lucien getting beat to a literal pulp. And then Feyre's mad at him for not like coming into the cell, and he's like, Feyre, I was literally almost dead. Like him just being like, justice for Lucy from book one. He's just always getting freaking like on the chopping board. Nobody's talking about him enough.
From book one, he's been my favorite character, and I think he still is. I don't really remember much about what he does or anything, but I've always loved him.
King honestly doesn't do much. Like he really doesn't, but he has to be being explored later on in the books. So. Like I feel like there's so much to explore with Lucien's character and his backstory. and he's just our sassy man. Like, the sassy man apocalypse is real, and it's in these fantasy books.
It's so true.
Like, when Reese
says that her wedding dress is just ugly.
Oh no, I love the memes of that, when he, like, when she's just in there and he's like, by the way, you know, like, that gown is not it. And she just throws a shoe at him. And I love seeing the animated things where, like, she's in her big ugly wedding dress and she throws a shoe at him and he just turns around and she's, like, holding the other shoe to throw it, and he's just, like, over it. And in his brain, the fact that he knew at the end of ACOTAR, when they're like, she goes out to speak to him and he's, like, going to, like, go back to Valeris and he's happy, and right when he's about to leave and he, like, stumbles backwards, and in her point of view she's like, he stumbles back and then he's gone. The fact that he landed in Valeris and hadn't been there in 49 years, and the first words out of his mouth were, she's my mate, and he's crying to Mor, hey, that's crazy. I'm not okay. He was willing to just be like, I'm not even gonna, she's with Tamlin, like, that's fine, I'm just gonna let her be with him.
I feel like mates,
Tamlin would not say the same.
In the Sarah J. Maas world, I feel like she made mates the biggest thing in ACOTAR. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a huge thing in ACOTAR, like mates, like they're mates. But in the other series, I feel like it's just like, we know that there's mates in these series now, you know?
Well, they also kind of use the term mate. Like, when it's, like, with Reese and Feyre, it's like, as soon as he could sense it that they were mates, like, he like sense, like, you know, like, there's like a sense, they sense those things. And then you go read, like, the other series and they just kind of say it in the matter of fact of, like, if you're the significant other, then they just start calling you their mate.
It's so interesting. I know people are very iffy on, like, after reading the last book, because you see Nesta in the first ones, like, how she's portrayed, and you either don't love Nesta, you love Nesta, but I don't like Elaine.
I said this the other day on TikTok, because I think I got, like, said, like, what Sarah J. Maas character are you? And it said Elaine, and I was like, whoa. Like, why? Because, okay, Elaine killed the king.
But, like, that's one thing. Yeah, really crazy big thing. But, like, out of everything, like, she's just gardening, and she's, like, giving nothing, and she's not answering anyone. She's just, like, quiet. And maybe there's things behind it, but, like, she really annoyed me, I think, the most in the series.
But you know what? Like, if we're being honest, so like, really, if I was given the choice, like, would I go fight? No.
Yeah, also, if you're taking me from the human world
also shut down
to the Fae world, like, I'm good out here with, like, my flowers.
No, like, we call her annoying, but then again, like, I'm not jumping in the fight and the cause.
So true. I actually could see myself in Elaine.
I would actually too just sit in the library, not speak to anybody, and just stare out the window if I all of a sudden. But also, like, Elaine being a seer, oh my god, we don't talk about it enough when, like, Cassian makes the joke in front of Elaine and he's like, it's gonna take more than that to kill me, haha, and she says, no, it won't.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Remember that. Wild.
And now that's, like, something that everybody's like, okay, what does that mean?
I hope he doesn't die.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't get the whole mates thing, because, like you said, in ACOTAR, it's like a huge thing.
Yeah, like, you it's feel like you your mate. It. But
yeah,
we could talk about it in another series. But, like, there was something else I was like, this is, like, ACOTAR is huge on the mates. Like, they are mates, and that is, like, above everything else.
Yeah, like, if you were, like, that's a sacred bond between the two. Like, they have mating ceremonies and everything.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
But yeah, I mean, the big things, like the war, hey, the emotions that I felt when rereading it, and their dad has the 3 ships on the horizon in ACOWAR, and it's Nesta's up front, and then it's Elaine and Feyre, and their dad came to save the day.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was unexpected.
That's just, I sob. I
don't really remember. I need to rewatch my own reading these books.
It was that, and, like, I'm trying to think of, like, big moments, and then, like, oh my god, the Suriel, when the Suriel dies. Oh, yeah, hey, go ahead and kill me too.
Yeah, that's an unexpected one that you don't realize when you first meet them, that you're actually going to be really upset when they die.
I feel like everybody falls into the Reese thing. No one talks enough about Azriel. I was going to say,
I think it's crazy that I don't remember anything from A Court of Silver Flames. Cassian's my favorite. I don't know why.
That book just doesn't even feel like it's from the same series. And I cared more about, I feel like, the messaging of that book than like the plot.
I think I actually took away messaging from that book, from the only things that I retained listening to it, than any plot line that happened in it.
I remember thinking like, okay, why are we doing all this training? And then the fact that they did the freaking Illyrian test and became Illyrian warriors. Hey, I sobbed.
Yeah,
I literally was like, oh my God. Like, I climbed the mountain. That was like a big part of the end of the book.
Wait, what was it?
Like, they, you know, like how they're training the entire book?
Yeah, I thought she was just helping
them. And you
them.
know how, like, no, Sarah, like, you know how Rhys, Cassian, and Azriel are Illyrian warriors, and how they are Illyrian warriors because they went and did the, like, test where they have to go in the mountains and fight other warriors and make it to the top.
Oh, they did that?
Yes, they all three went and did that, and they were the only women to ever do it.
Ah, good for them.
I know.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, Gwen, Emery, and Anesta all did that together.
Is that why she was climbing stairs?
No, she was climbing stairs because the wine cellar was at the bottom, and how she was an alcoholic, and they were like, well, if you want the alcohol bad enough, you have to go down 1,000 stairs.
I feel like I can walk down 1,000 stairs. So it was like a test
of her. Huh? Or is it 10,000?
Maybe, it had to be a lot. Because that was like a big point.
Yeah, it was like a huge thing for her that she couldn't get down the steps. And it was like, I think it was like also a test to be like, well, one, it was a way to get her weaned off of alcohol. But it was like, if you want it bad enough, you have to go do it. And, you know, she also wasn't putting in any effort for anything. But yeah, the list, when she put the list and nobody like signed their name, and she was just like, I was a Nesta hater before Quarters of Flames. Like, I literally was like, I hate Nesta with a passion.
Oh, really?
I can't do it. Yes. Like, no. Like,
I feel like a lot of people are. I feel like I was more, like, indifferent. Like, she was annoying, not in the same way Elaine was, but just because she was, like, kind of mean.
Yeah. I feel like it was because, like, just the way that she was to Feyre and, like, how she was to everybody, and just, like, she just felt so, like, entitled and hateful. Like, it was so hateful. But then you get to know her character, and then you relate, and you're like, wow, this is, like, crazy. But also the fact that, like, stuff that always still makes me emotional when I think of the series is the fact that she never said I love you to, like, she didn't say I love you to Cassian first. She said it to her sister first.
Well, yeah.
And having to go down that road of, like, trauma with her mom, you know, like that her mom did to her, and then like realizing like how powerful a sister's love is, and like you have no one in this world if not your sisters, you know. And just at the end, like when she saves Feyre's life, and then she goes, and like the book ends with her like running down the stairs to go be with Elaine and Feyre. Hey, I sobbed like a baby.
I know, I wish I remembered that, but that sounds really sweet.
I was about to say, this is all lost on Sarah. Sarah's like, aw. Anyway, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I failed also, the last book.
In Accordance Over Flames, something that I think about all the time, too, is how, obviously, Lucien's brother, oh my God, why his name just left my brain.
Is it Eris?
Eris.
The way I don't know how I knew that.
Great job, Sarah. I love that for you. That Mor was supposed to like be with, and then, you know, the whole entire thing happened with Eris, and he's talking to Cassian, and Cassian's, you know, like spitting venom at him and is like saying these things, and Eris says like, you need to ask Mor because she's not telling the truth. Like, she's not telling you guys what you think, like whatever. I have not trusted Mor since then. I feel like she is withholding information. I think she's lying about something, because like even little hints that Eris has said and like other people say about Mor, like I feel like Mor hides a lot of secrets.
I'm just gonna agree with you, honestly.
This is lost on Sarah. Sarah cannot remember anything about the ACOTAR series. I love the ACOTAR series. Moral of the story, ACOTAR series is amazing. We can move on to Throne of Glass, because I feel like that's more fresh on your brain to like think about what happened in Throne of Glass. We can move on to Throne of Glass.
It's all my best friends.
Yes. Okay. Listen.
Yeah, guys.
I want to get this out there. Listen here. I got tagged in so many TikToks after Sarah J. Maas updated her website and was like, this is a proper reading order. I'm going to say it right now. I don't give a
I'm still not going to jump on that bandwagon after reading the series.
No.
Assassin's Blade first, that's all.
Yes.
Like 100%.
some people aren't novella people, so I feel like it is also just more convenient for them to read the novellas first. And in my brain, it will never not make sense to read a prequel smack dab in the middle of the series. It just does not make sense.
I understand it breaking up going between these books because it switches like where you're reading it, the plot line really switches after that. So like you're seeing everything that happened before what you just read, but reading the prequel and seeing everything that she's done before, you can connect with her on like such a crazy level.
Yes.
And also, after starting Throne of Glass, after reading Assassin's Blade, when they start saying stuff about like Red Desert and healers and stuff, you're like, oh my god, literally she was just doing all that, and you're just like so much more connected to her. I feel like if I read Throne of Glass first, I wouldn't really care about her becoming the King's champion, like, at all.
No, and see, that's where I read Throne of Glass first and then read Assassin's Blade third. And after doing that, I always said too, like, it, and also just you find out about Sam off the bat, like in Throne of Glass, like they talk about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's still, I guess, hearing his name and like whatever happened to him, and then reading Assassin's Blade third or whatever, it's still like the inevitable, and it's still upsetting. But I feel like just not knowing in the beginning, and like you're rooting for Sam, you know,
like not knowing and going into the books, like with the novella, and you don't know, I feel like hits more emotionally.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Throne of Glass spoilers, guys. Don't listen.
Yeah. So because I went in, and when they tell you in Throne of Glass, like, because she says it like pretty much off the bat that Sam is dead. Like she's like, Sam's dead. I don't.
Because right after it happened, Throne of Glass starts, and she's going to.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why she's in the prison, is because she tried to go kill what's his face, and he threw her in the prison.
Yeah, Assassin's Blade is so underrated.
It really is.
Oh my gosh, it's
you know
so
what?
good.
The way most of it connects in Empire of Storms and like Kingdom of Ash is beautiful.
Like this series blows my mind because of the way she has connected from the first book and the prequel all the way through.
Something that sticks with me is like, because I feel like you definitely connect to it from what happens in Assassin's Blade, is somebody said like what she didn't save them in the end. It was always her kindness that got them the allies and stuff. Like in Assassin's Blade, the girl that she went to like assassin school with, that she let go instead of killing her, then she comes with the ships. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
like
all comes
later
back
on into the series.
Yeah,
and like it's her kindness.
It's so crazy that this is a prequel, and usually I feel like, you know, whatever happened with Sam in the first book, you would think that that's okay, that's where it's ending, she's gonna move on now. No, what happens with her and Sam literally all the way through to Kingdom of Ash, like all the messages and the meanings behind it, still bringing up Sam, going to the gravesite in one of the books, and all the way through. And it's so crazy, he's such a big figure in the whole entire series. Oh.
Well, I feel like it's because she does it for him, and she does it for her best friend's name is escaping me right now. The one who dies in
Nehemia?
Midnight. Yeah, she does it for both of them because they're both talked about a lot throughout, and her parents. But she, like, especially her best friend, because, you know, she made the promise to her that, like, I'm going to
that's where it all starts.
Help the kingdoms. Yeah, so she's like, I'm going to do this. And it's just, a Throne of Glass is a whole entire own world of its own, of, like, how everything connects and emotionally wise, like, all of that.
Yeah.
It's okay, hey Stutter, it's insane.
It's so crazy. In the first, I guess if you're reading Assassin's Blade first, but the first 3 books feel like a totally different world than the other ones. And it's so crazy because I was so upset after kind of Midnight going into Heir of Fire, because I was like, oh, now I gotta learn about these people in this world. Like, I missed the castle and Dory. Like, this sucks. And then it turned into like the best thing ever.
Yes. And Sarah's a Dorian girly. For those of you who don't know, Sarah loves Dory.
The moment he shows up, a dark-haired prince, that's like the basis of what I love. But he was he never was like mean, and he was like right after Sam, he was like the first one after Sam for her to actually, like, on an emotional level, I guess, connect with. And then first you have me love Sam and her, And then you have me love Dory and her, and just Dory in general. And sorry, I call him Dory. But then...
Yeah, get with the program, guys.
I give them all nicknames. I call her... Did I say Sally? I call her Sally.
No.
Okay. But then you put in... I call him Cole. His name is Kale. I just don't like the name Kale.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to... I will never root for him. Sorry.
No, listen. You know what's criminal? The fact that we got the love interest being Kale instead of Dorian.
Yeah, and...
In the first few books.
I saw a TikTok somewhere. It was like... Dory loved her for whatever, all these things. And then Kale loved her when she was Miss Lillian or whatever, pretending to be like part of like the world, the Throne of Glass world or whatever. She wasn't even like Sally at that point, and Kale was like falling over her.
Yeah. Hey, how are you going to love an assassin and in the moment that she shows up to be an assassin and save your life? Yeah. She's saving your life. You're like disgusted. Oh my God.
I did not like him.
No, I didn't either. I was like, why isn't Dorian the love interest? Like, why is he the love interest?
I know. It was
and the
so
fact that
sad.
she let down him
when she left.
She let him down easy. Yeah. And he bought her a dog, for God's sake.
I know. And he took care of that dog when she had to leave. When she was forced to leave.
The whole entirety of it. But once you get to Air of Fire, it's a completely different book. And I remember being like, listen, enemies to lovers, for real.
Yeah, I think
getting punched in the face by your love interest, like, rocked. Not just like,
I know. As soon as all that happened, I was like, I knew where this was going to go with him, but I think I knew, since I knew that's where it was going to go, I was like kind of annoyed. I was like, we're going to go through a huge enemies to lovers storyline now. And I'm still hung up over Dory, and that was like almost 2 books ago. Just so sad. But that book was just really slow to me and really boring to me because she's just trying to figure out her powers and they're arguing all the time. And you get the Mandan chapters, and I think it's a really big canon event. Everyone just hates her first chapters. Because it's like, no one cares.
God, no. That is such canon event where it's just like, you like flip and it's Amanda's chapter. You're like, Jesus,
I would stop. Every time I would flip to her chapter, I'd take a break. I was like, I can't read 20 minutes of his.
But her chapters are so important. Though. Like, once you get through the books, you're like, crap. Yeah. It's a good thing I was paying attention. Yeah. But like, that sucked to get through. So Sarah doesn't love Air of Fire, and Air of Fire is one of my favorite books.
I definitely appreciate it now, though.
Yeah, I think I really like it because it is serving enemies to lovers, obviously, and I love Rowan. I'm absolutely obsessed with him. And I feel like it also just shows character development because he even makes a comment in Air of Fire of, like, he kind of calls her, like, spoiled, and he kind of, like, I forget the exact words, but, like, he kind of says these things because he doesn't know who she is. And then later on, like, when he finds out, like, who she is, like, what's happened to her, he literally gets, like, sick to his stomach thinking about the things that he said to her. And I love that, and I eat that up. I did, I'm gnawing at it. Like, I love it. Like, I'm just like, you sick son.
Yeah, I definitely loved them and that whole development, the start of Air of Fire to where they were. But this is what I was saying about the mates thing. Like, huge in ACOTAR, but like when I eventually, like, as soon as it was the enemies to lovers trope going on, I knew they were going to be mated somewhere in the near future.
But can we talk about how Maeve knew
that
they were mates, and she set the trap for saying that was Rowan's mate and then killed that woman? I mean, that is like,
and you don't even find that out until like what book do you find that out in? Further down, is it the Tandem?
Is it Empire of Storms?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah, is it Empire of Storms?
But that you find that out because you're thinking that he had his mate died.
That was
which is crazy.
And and if anyone's asking, I do ignore that they're distant cousins. I do ignore that. Sarah J. Maas, why the hell would you do that? Hey, why are you doing that? I try my hard, but I always have to say it because when I say I'm a Rowan girl, they're like, ugh, somebody's cousin, blah, blah. Hey, listen, I ignore it. I just act like that's not a canon thing. That's absolutely I just can't.
Were you?
Like, why did you write that?
Were you shook when you found out that she was Aelin? Or did you know? I remember when I told you I got spoiled. I think you said you caught on.
I caught on immediately. I think it's in Throne of Glass. There's a moment. I think it's in Throne of Glass that they're talking about Aelin. They're telling Sully that, and she's hearing it from the king that like Aelin is like raising this army, and she like makes this small, like it's like a tiny thing, but you know me, okay, I'm catching on everything. Like she says something like there's like a comment made in her point of view, and I was like, oh, it's her 100%. It's her. Like I was like, it's her. Yep, that's it's her. And then I was right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew it.
I think I saw it's always fan art on my Explore page that spoils things for me, but I think that's what I saw. But it was also something else I saw on Instagram that someone said like one of their favorite characters was Aelin, and then I was like, but we haven't really met anything about Aelin. So I kind of put two and two together, but every time someone posts something and they say their favorite character is Aelin, and I know the series has been out for a while, it always makes me just a little bit upset because I'm like, they're gonna figure it out, and it's like it's a crazy thing.
I agree, and it's like, but it's also tough because it's like because I had heard the name Aelin before, but I thought like maybe we just meet her like Selly meets her is what I thought. Like so people could also just think that like we're gonna meet her down the road because like you know there's like big characters that are main characters
that's true. That was one of my favorites of the series, Crown of Midnight, and then Queen of Shadows was my other favorite. The book's crazy.
Yeah, see, mine are Airfire, Empire of Storms, Kingdom of Ash. Those are like my three like favorite at most. Yes,
I think those are like not Kingdom of Ash, but the other two are kind of least. I think Crown of Midnight, Queen of Shadows, and Kingdom of Ash. The tandem, I could not.
I understand, but like Empire of Storms is what got me through the tandem because I loved it so much. I literally was like, I love this.
Yeah, I only remember the ending of Empire Storms. I don't even remember what happens in it.
Well, it's like it starts off and she's talking to the people from her kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not respecting her and she's kind of discouraged and they're all like, we need to go their separate ways to try to like figure out how we're going to get their allyship. And like they go to Erebin. No, the Pirate King. They go to the Pirate King. And whatever the dude's name is, that's a Pirate King. Whatever. They do all of that in Empire of Storms, and they're at Skulls Bay.
Yeah, because Chaos. Yeah, Chaos. Like the one place that she wouldn't be is the pirates' place. And that's exactly where she went.
I love seeing the meme too, where it's like Kale being like, "I know the one place she wouldn't be is Skulls Bay," and then it's like Aelin in Skulls Bay, and she's just like, "Yeah, like I'm over here."
What about when they put the collar on Dory in Queen of Shadows?
Oh. Something that guts me is something that I never forgive Aelin for is like when she's so quick, her and Kale are so quick to be like, yeah, we have to kill Dorian, and then Manon writes like witch killer, like he's still in it.
Yeah, because she says, what color do you bleed? And he says, I'll bleed whatever color you tell me to, and that's actually ingrained in my brain. I want it tattooed somewhere on me, and that's how she knows that he's still in there. Oh my god, what a scene.
But also the fact, like, think about Manon. The fact that she immediately cared enough. Like, she could have just been like, yeah, I'm not saying anything, and, like, it will be easier if he dies.
I love her development. I mean? Great development.
Yeah, she was like, okay, like, witch killer that...
Yeah, also, I loved in this series when you're reading so much about Manon or whatever, or Rowan and Airfire, but, like, when all of the characters you love meet, like, when Manon and Sally were in their first scene together and they're fighting or whatever, like, that was crazy. I was shook.
But they have like a mutual admiration for each other because they're like, wow, like this is like a powerful like woman, and they're just both like, especially Aelin was like, wow, this is like cool, like this is, it's everything. And then I was somebody who fell under the trap of an Airfire. I hated Aedion. I hated him, and I love Aedion. I love him. Sarah does not feel the same.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I just think him in Kingdom of Ash, he ruined himself for me completely.
Oh, 100%. I got so pissed at the storyline in Kingdom of Ash. I was like, okay, you're not giving the character that you are.
Yeah, like he forgave Aelin literally as soon as he found out she was still alive for not telling him she was still alive, but he's kicking out his girlfriend into the snow.
Literally. Don't even get me started. The fact that the fact that she like trusts Aedion after all of the trauma that she's been through, like she's been used as like,
oh, she's one of my favorites, I think.
No, I love her. I love that she's a shifter. I love that she just like shifts into whatever she wants.
When you find that out, when Rowan was like, I sniffed it on you. Okay. That's crazy.
You're just like, okay, like, yeah. Like, no, but stuff like that, like mastermind moments. Yeah. But it's something that I always think about because I see these TikToks where it's like, name a character who had every reason to become the villain but never did, and it always shows Aelin. The amount of things that happened to her in her lifetime that really you would look and go, like, this is a villain origin story, but she refused to become the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, she's one of my she probably is my favorite, like, main character in a series. What about when she's going to
us being like, what about
I think it's Queen of Shadows, but she goes to Arobyn's to whatever, they found out about the rings and everything, and he puts the ring on her. When I tell you, I literally closed the book and couldn't read anymore, but then you flip the page and it's like she's a genius. But part was freaking out. And also, remember when Lysandra was the one that killed Arobyn? I always thought it would be a bigger moment.
But I liked it because I think it was, like, very metaphorical in a sense, because Lysandra doing that, it was kind of a nod to, like, you know, everything that Lysandra's been through, like, that stuff that she's had to live through for years. So doing it in the way that made the most sense to her, and, like, the intimacy of, like, the things that she's had to do and killing him in that manner, I was like, okay, yeah.
That was a crazy scene. It was crazy. I just thought it would be a bigger moment, like a bigger scene.
No, 100%. I did think that would be a bigger thing too.
One of the worst deaths, I say this every time me and Destiny talk about this, for me, Chaol's guards on the poles. Justice for Brullo and Ress. No one ever remembers who they are. They are the guards that were guarding Selly and were helping them with all of it. And Chaol comes back to the castle and they're dead. Oh, it hurts.
I think that one of the biggest things, because of what it means when Fenrir, oh my god, I never know how to pronounce his freaking name, but I love him. Fenris?
Who?
The wolf.
Oh, the wolf. Fenris. I say Fenris.
Fenris, what the hell? You know, I don't do fantasy names. His twin that Maeve kills, and that
doesn't she make him kill himself? Is that the scene?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right in front of him.
It's like blurry how he dies, but yeah, he like, and then oh my god, the blink. Yeah. The blink once or twice.
That's what like kept her alive and kept them going.
But the fact that she was tortured and then like whatevered and then tortured even more.
What about her taking her scars away? Like when I read that part, it's just like everything she's been through that you've been through with her just like vanished from her. Oh, that was so sad. Or when she couldn't take the mask off. I felt it.
Oh my god.
I was panicking.
Also the panic, it feels so real, like when she's panicking and trying to run away and the only option is Lorcan, but she's like terrified because he's the one that betrayed her, but she knows that she has nowhere else to run. And Lorcan is like sobbing. Hey.
Lorcan was another one in his first scenes. It's like, okay, I'm annoyed, I don't want to read your chapters, we're playing hide and seek. But when that happened, obviously I was mad at him because he gave away everything, and that's why she ended up with Maeve. But he didn't know. He didn't know.
To be fair, like he was very remorseful, and once he did figure it out,
he was crawling.
He was very much. He was like, yeah, that was. Oh my god, he's sobbing, and he's like,
yeah.
Oh my god, and his worst fear being that Elide would be, or Elide, whatever, would be like, yeah, I don't love you. Hey, he's a simp, and we love to see it.
Yeah, her journey was crazy too. She's just a little girl human. She's in shackles.
Literally just a girl.
Yeah. In like a death mountain place. And she survives.
That is
and finds
crazy.
Lorcan.
Also,
good for her.
And what did Lorcan do?
Don't. Who knows?
Also, God, what's her name? It starts with a K, and I always forget it, and I wish I didn't. That
was crazy.
Was emotionally scarring for me.
Because you don't expect anything from her, but then she's like,
no,
hey, let me save everyone, actually.
Like, the fact that she went through so much and then she saved everybody.
Wild.
Hey. Just, yeah, I mean, Kingdom of Ash, and then the fact that, like, her sitting on the throne, and she's done it for Sam, and she's done it for, hey, I want to sob. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Kingdom of Ash was
when
crazy.
They say, like, when he says, like, what do you want to do? And she's like, you know, like, we'll just wait till tomorrow, like, or whatever it says. Like, she's just like, that's how the book ends. Like, she's like, I have till I can figure it out. Like, I have time to figure out what I'm gonna do.
All of the reunion scenes, though, because you see them in different spots, and when they all show up again, but at the end, her hugging Dory and Kale, literally, probably the saddest moment of the series.
Because you think of how far that they've come from getting her out of prison to, like,
crazy.
her literally being the queen. And, like, brought them with her every step of the way. Also, hold on. We didn't even talk about the whole entire Nameless is my price. And the whole entire, like...
That was wild.
Oh, my God. And the king being... Because you never knew his name. They just called him the king. And he just didn't even have a name.
Mm-hmm. And he said he knew his name the first time he held his son. That was crazy. Also, just Sally being selfless the whole entire series is also crazy. Never once is she selfish when she should be.
No, and we're literally all screaming at her, like, girl, pick yourself.
Yeah.
Pick yourself. And she's just like, no, I'm going to jump off this cliff to save the ones that I love. Yeah. And you're like, no, girl. Yeah. Come back here. But can I talk about this? Something that pisses me off in fantasy books, and we need to talk about it. Hey, let's stop going through an entire journey, and especially with Throne of Glass, oh my God, going through everything, and then, hey, let's take the powers away at the end.
Yeah.
Hey, geez.
It's like the whole series for nothing.
God. Like, and some people will be like, but that's the whole entire point. He's like, now she doesn't need the power, but hey, why can't she have both?
Yeah.
She's given so much, why can't she have both?
I think it's supposed to be some big emotional thing, but it's actually a little annoying.
It makes me so mad. Like, I oh my God, when she lost her powers in Kingdom of Ash, I actually closed the book. I was like,
yeah, I feel like I felt that coming. It pissed me off what she was doing.
It pissed me off. Well, because Sarah J. Maas usually doesn't do that. Like, she doesn't, like, take away powers. So I was like, okay, cool. And then gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
poor Sally can't can't have anything.
No, not even her powers. Mm-hmm. Like, but yeah, just my rant about that. Every time I think about it, it makes me so mad.
The way we didn't say one thing about Tower of Dawn shows how we feel about that book.
What do you want me to say about it? I don't care. Like, I think
the only good part of that series, I think Irene carried the whole book, and I think it was just crazy seeing that she was an Assassin's Blade, and hey, that's the healer from that small little novella, is now a main character.
With the coin, the freaking coins. Hey, go so you can be like a healer.
Yeah. But also the one thing from Irene and everything was she still held the note that she wrote to her, and I was waiting for so long for her to reunite with Sully and like her to realize that's
me too.
Who Kale was talking about the whole time. That's a crazy little reunion going on, but
yeah,
I think Kale needed the book. I didn't need the book. He needed the book for his redemption and his journey. I could have done with a Dory book if you wanted to do that. What about when Dory turns into like a fly or something? He learns to shapeshift.
And a woman. He turns into a woman at one point too.
He's so unserious.
He literally is like me if I ever got powers. Let me see what I can do with this.
Yeah.
Like, just so unserious. In the most serious of situations.
I love him.
Actually, a dire situation. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I want to turn into a fly.
Yeah, everyone talks about how him and Manon like have an open-ended story, and Manon's immortal and he's not, and it hurts me to think about.
I think Sarah J. Maas will write something about it. I actually saw a part of her interview on the Today Show. She said, after the next ACOTAR book, I'm not talking about what I'm writing, but it's something that I've had in my mind for a really long time. And people think it's going to be about Dory.
Please. I would die.
I could not imagine.
Okay, I don't know what I would do. But
yeah, Throne of Glass, unmatched. Just
Truly.
Everything for it. I'm just, we didn't even talk about how, when Sam left and she just kept looking at the clock and she knew something was wrong, but she just couldn't stop looking at the clock and wait for him to come home. And she doesn't let him use the lavender soap. And the first time that Rowan goes to her apartment, she lets him use the lavender soap.
Yep. What about if she says, I hate packing after he says,
I love you. And she says, I hate packing. Oh, I said this to Isaac not that long ago, that impacted me so much that any time that now, like, somebody, but especially him, like, if you're leaving or, like, because you know, like, sometimes if you're busy or distracted and someone's like, oh, love you, and then you, like, don't say it back, that has forced me to be like, when I leave, I say it.
Yeah.
When somebody leaves, I say it. Like, I let people know, because I'm not somebody that's, like, comfortable, like, doing that. And I swear, ever since reading that in Assassin's Blade, I've been like, I have to let you know.
It really
like,
shows.
I can't live with that.
Yeah, I also saw somewhere that in that book, since she told Sam everything that she was doing and the whole plan and stuff, and he ended up dying, that's why in, like, the rest of the series, she doesn't tell anyone her plans. That's why everyone's left in, like, the dark of everything, because just in case they know, like, they're also in trouble. And I thought that was crazy.
That makes so much sense.
Sam really taught her a lot.
And that's heartbreaking.
I know.
I
know it hurts.
And I love Rowan because of how much he loves Sam.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when he gives her the rock or the stone or whatever it was.
Yes. And he, like, doesn't let anybody talk about Sam. Like, is it Arabin or the Pirate King that starts talking about Sam, and Rowan's like, you're not going to start talking about
pirate guy.
And that's just, oh my God, I just can't. I just love the series so much. It's just it's so good.
It really is.
There's so much to it. We can go on to the more mid-series of them all. And that is Crescent City. It's not bad. It's not a bad series, guys. It's not. It's really not.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just, in comparison,
doesn't go close.
No, and I personally think it's the mix between such a interesting fantasy world, because it's like the urban phones and everything, but also I never connected to the characters really as much as I did in the other ones. It's such a weird mix that it feels like she's writing as if it's like a fever dream, like truly like just throwing things out there.
Oh yeah. No, it literally does not. The series almost doesn't feel real. Yeah. But I love it though. Like, I still do love the books. They're not my favorite, but like, I remember the first time I read Crescent City, I was like, what the hell is going on? I felt like I was on drugs. I was like, okay, so they have phones, and now there's angels, but there's also demons, but there's also wolves, and there's also fae, mermaids, and different houses.
Anything you can think of, but with modern technology.
Sarah J. Maas loves to info dump in Crescent City. It's like her favorite thing to do. I feel like I'm reading a textbook.
Yeah, that's where it gets like a lot, because I feel like in her other books you learn as you go with the characters, but this one she's just telling you everything at once, and it's really a lot at once. And I think that's why it should be the last one to read, because it's like so much information.
And you know what? You worded that perfectly. Like, that, you worded that in a way that I never could have. The like, yeah, you learn as you go, and she kind of shows you and it unravels. Versus in Crescent City, she just info dumps. Like, it will be just a page of information. I literally feel like I should be annotating for a class.
Yeah, she started the first book as if we already knew everything about Crescent City, and she goes right in to like, this is what's happening, and then you get like a dump of something.
Yeah, it'll be like, Bryce is going down the street. She's walking past a Triarii of the Asteria that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you're just like, what?
You just have to like keep up.
Girl, what? By the time I ended the book, I remember closing the book and I was like, I don't even know. Like, I just remember just being like, I don't even know what I just read. Like, I really felt discombobulated. I didn't even know. I feel like I was just... Yeah. And then I just went directly into House of Sky and Breath after that.
That's what you gotta
do. Okay, I guess I'm going to the other one.
It's all vibes, honestly. Like, if you can't figure it out, just keep reading. Whatever.
Yeah. I will say, characters love Rune.
Yeah, do you have any favorite characters in top?
Honestly, no one talks about Hunt enough. I really like Hunt. I really, really like Hunt. And I love Rune, and I love Ethan.
Okay.
I love Ethan. I don't like Bryce. There, I said it.
I think she is the most delusional character. The way that she defends Danica with everything in her after everything that comes out, it's beyond me that she still defends her, and that's her best friend. That's not a good best friend, Miss Girl.
No, it's not a good best friend. Danica is doing right for the world that they live in, and Danica was right for, like, researching, going and all of this stuff. But you could have told Bestie about it. It's not like I would be like, oh yeah, I'm doing all this stuff, and like, I'm gonna tattoo a horn into Sarah's back and never let her know any of the research that I did to help her with the situation, to move things along faster.
Yeah.
You know, like in case something happens to me, know this information. That way you can, and we don't spend 2 books trying to catch up on the information that Danica got within, you know, like some months.
Yeah, and as soon as she kept saying that, 1, Danica, all these secrets about Danica are coming out, and 2, the first time she said that she doesn't know the words that are written on her backs, it's a different language, I was like, okay. You literally put it in my face that there's something else in her back and we're looking for something.
The way she was so blindly following Danica, like the fact that Danica was like, yeah, I just picked a random language, and Bryce was just like, slay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like, you didn't even question what was on the back.
Yes. She's so delusional. Yeah, I don't like her. I think
it's not even,
I don't think I love Hunt either. Like, he has a foot fetish.
he does.
There's like multiple scenes that he's like telling her that he loves her feet and wants to, like, he loves her feet in many.
That is so weird.
Like scenes where it's about to get spicy. Like he loves her feet and her toes.
The stuff that like goes down in the Crescent City books are also a little bit weird. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all a little, like you're a little like, what's going on? You know, like you're a little bit like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah.
I don't like Bryce. Not one of my favorite characters. Definitely main character status, no, because the alpha hole stuff is annoying. It's annoying. It's frustrating because somebody cares about her and wants to look out for her that she calls them an alpha hole. Like, it is just so annoying. She has that mastermind in her. Like, there are things that Bryce does pull where it's like she is kind of always like 2 steps ahead, and it is impressive because you're like, wow. Like, you know, like you don't expect it from her. And that's the point, is that she's kind of the type of character that you wouldn't expect that stuff from. But her always being like, oh, like, I know what's best. Don't talk to me about that. Da 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 da. Like, she's just, it's just insufferable sometimes where I'm like, just shut up for 1 split second and let somebody else do the talking.
I think my favorite characters probably Rune, Ethan, Connor probably would have been my favorite, and Tharion. Is that how you say it? He's underrated. I love him.
He makes, hey, if you want an award for who makes the worst decisions imaginable, give it to Tharion. Give it to him. He deserves it. Every single thing that Tharion does, I'm like, that is the most unintelligent way that you could have went about that I've ever seen in my life.
I love him.
Like, it's actually kind of impressive. I say that he's like Manon, where at first I really was like, oh my god, like, I do not love him, and then he grows on you and you're like, okay, yeah, I really like him. I love Baxian. I love him. Why don't we talk about him enough? I love him. And the fact that he was Danica's mate, and then she died, and he only got 4 months with her. And he literally changed everything for Danica. He like literally.
Yeah. I don't have much to say, but after finding all that out, and when he was like slowly trying to tell them like, you can trust me, I was like, okay, I kind of like him. Hunt showed him how to play video games.
That was so wholesome.
Why was that so cute?
Also, does anybody else picture the Asteri as the Volturi from Twilight?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Have you never watched the Twilight movies?
I think I watched the first one when it came out.
Like, okay, they're like the it's like the same thing. They're like the higher ups, high vampires in Twilight, and they literally are the Asteri.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is really funny. But there's not a whole lot to say about Crescent City because it's like, I honestly don't know.
It's crazy that there's such thick books, but like,
what happens in them? What happens in them? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's so much info dumping and just like the most mundane moments ever. And then like the last 150 pages, something happens.
The first one's just like a really long murder mystery.
Yeah. Second one, things heat up a little bit because you get introduced to the conflict of the world. That's why earlier when I was talking about like the first book of like in Sarah J. Maas worlds that all kind of have that, like, it doesn't even feel like it belongs in the series because like the storyline with Micah, like, okay, I mean, it does all make sense in the end, but like you're just kind of like, okay, this doesn't even feel like it's useful to the storyline.
This is what I was saying about mates too. Bryce and Hunt are just in bed and he's like, I think you're my mate, and she's like, yeah, We should call each other mates.
No,
how unserious
that's what I mean.
is
Like
that?
it just seemed like oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, so we're mates.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes no sense.
And before, was it the first book at the end, right before? I don't know when they said that, but I think they like kissed for like the first time, and he's getting taken in after betraying her, and she's like ready to sell herself in his place. And I was like, you are literally, why would you do that? What about at the end of the first one when they're watching her like reality TV just fight for her life?
Oh my god, the fact that they're all sitting there like it's an episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County.
And no one's doing anything yet.
Hey, so no one's gonna go help, which I think that they did say like nobody could get there in time.
It was too
like,
far away, but like
of the stuff happening.
just the way they're watching her.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I know.
Sobbed.
Yeah, that was
sobbed.
Sad. Oh, she watches reality TV. She was so cute on her little iPad.
She was so cute. She loved literally me. Taking my iPad everywhere with me.
Oh.
I said this the other day that I've been reading on my Kindle, and I said I'm literally an iPad kid.
But I'm only, give me a sec. I think I'm 40% in.
Ah. You're reading on the Kindle.
I am. I'm trying to like keep up on here just to see the pages and stuff, but I did buy it on my Kindle because it's just too big for me to hold.
I bought 3 copies of the physical book, Kindle, and got it on Audible.
Perfect. But you finished. Did you finish? I thought it was on Goodreads. Did you?
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about it yet if you don't want to. I could finish it and then we could talk about it in an episode if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to give something. Do you have anything to say? Nothing. That's fine.
Okay, start quiz.
The first question.
How do you deal with past trauma? Pretend it never happened, accept it, and realize that it plays a part in making you who you are. You managed to put that behind you a long time ago. Confronting the problem is the only way to heal. It still hurts, but you're strong enough to handle it. You're not the best at dealing with emotions. You're still struggling / processing.
I'm gonna accept it.
I don't know whether to say pretend it never happened or you're not the best with handling emotions. And I'm going to say you're not the best at dealing with emotions because that is me. Okay. Next question. You can read it. We can go back and forth.
How do you handle problems? View them as challenges and face them head on, like an earthbender. Ask for help. If you leave it alone, it'll resolve itself. Definitely that one.
100%. If you leave it alone, it'll help itself. Okay. Speaking of, which are you? Waterbender, firebender, earthbender, airbender? Am I the Avatar? What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what a Gemini is. I don't know what sign. What like...
if I were to have...
I think I would want to do fire. That's kind of fun. I'm going fire.
I'm trying to think of what's the most resourceful. I think I would say earthbender because if you could use all the elements that the earth has to offer you to like fight somebody.
I would just start burning everyone.
Oh yeah, that's another way to do it. 100%.
Pick a Netflix original: The Witcher, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Stranger Things, No Thanks.
100% Stranger Things. You guys know me.
Yeah, that's the only one I watched.
If you were able to go back in time and deal with a bully any way you wanted, what would you pick? Kick their ass? Try to make friends with them. I wouldn't bother to go back at all. I've matured past that or refuse to let them know they're even getting to you.
I wouldn't go back. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying too. I wouldn't go back. Why would I go back just to like beat up a bully? Where does your talent lie? Entertaining, i.e. singing, acting, writing, practical skills, cooking, crafting, gardening, leadership, organizing, directing, or none of these? I want to say none of these.
I don't think I have a talent.
I don't sing or act or write. I don't cook.
Yeah, I said none.
I don't garden. Yeah, I would say none of those.
Okay, favorite animal? Big cat. Leopard, tiger, or cougar is part of that. And then eagle, bear, dog, or horse?
Dog.
We're going to have the same person.
Dog. Literally, we are. Weapon of choice: fists, blades, knowledge, or I don't fight. Blades, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know what I would want. I'm going to go with I don't fight. They scare me.
Me immediately going for blades, and Sarah's like, I don't fight.
Oh my god, I don't even know what this is. Which is...
See the vampire? That's one of the Volturi from Twilight.
Oh, it says which...
Yeah.
Oh, this is all the same person. It says which Michael Sheen. Werewolf, vampire, angel, or android?
Vampire. I'll go vampire because I was literally just talking about the Volturi earlier.
What's android?
A robot.
Oh.
There's also never heard of
I didn't see that
option.
I'm going never heard of him.
Okay.
No, what did you get?
Who'd you get?
I got Elaine. Are you kidding? Who'd you?
I got Feyre.
Oh.
Oh, okay. If you could be anything, what would you? If you could be anything, would you want to be an Illyrian, a hybrid, a normal human, an immortal fae, or a shadow singer?
I'm gonna do an immortal fae.
I'm gonna do a hybrid.
All right.
Okay.
If you could have any special trait, it would be to transform into an animal, to be immortal, to be able to control darkness, to have wings, to have great fighting skills.
I would say great fighting skills.
I want wings.
Okay, slay. If you had the choice, you wanted to live in the universe of Rhys and Feyre, or the world of Rowan and Aelin?
I feel like my chances
100%.
My chances of survival are higher in ACOTAR.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. With Rhys and Feyre, 100%.
I want to meet Dory. I'm going to Rowan and Aelin.
Even if your life is short over there, at least you've seen Dory.
Your world is about to be destroyed. Would you fight to the end with my friends? I won't let anybody die. Sacrifice myself because I would do anything for my loved ones. Do anything to save it. It's for the greater good. Do anything to ensure my family and friends are safe, or go away as far as possible. I don't want to have anything to do with this.
That's literally me, but I feel like
I would ensure my family and friends are safe.
That I was about to say, if I joke like I wouldn't do anything, but I feel like if I was in the situation, I would do anything to save it.
Yeah.
I feel like I would do anything to save, Anyway, no. A person you dislike very much is about to die. Would you let them die? They wouldn't rescue me either. Save them, even though you don't want to. Sacrifice yourself to save them or help them. Nobody should die anymore. I would say save them, just because I feel like, don't be the person that lets them die.
I guess I would help them. If you could have any pet, it would be an eagle. They are majestic. A fox, a black horse, a koala bear. I don't want a pet.
I would say a horse. I love horses so much.
Koala bear.
You were just talking about koalas.
Yeah, I'm choosing that one.
In your group of friends, you are the leader, the quiet one, the show off, the clown, the idiot. Wow. I feel like
I have to be the idiot.
No, I have to be the idiot.
No.
Yeah. I'll say the clown. You don't pick the idiot.
I'll pick the quiet one. Okay. Oh, what do you look for in a guy? They spelt muscles wrong, but
they've also been saying life instead of live.
Muscles, looks, humor, kindness, protectiveness.
I would say humor. I feel like I'm a big personality gal.
I guess I'm going to say kindness.
Okay, slay. Did you just read that one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. If your dream guy had a scar, you wouldn't... What the hell is this question?
I didn't read these questions before going into them.
You wouldn't mind, find it attractive, accept it, but not like it or dump him? Find it attractive, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. The perfect relationship needs adventure, mystery, deep conversations, honesty, or trust.
Both honesty and trust.
I guess maybe trust.
I'll say trust. Oh, your dream guy is a personal killer, spy, general, king, or high lord. High lord. Hey. Dory's a king.
Okay, I'm gonna say king. You want to end up with the joking Cass, the mysterious Azriel, the all-powerful Rhys, the loyal Rowan, the scarred Dorian. Okay.
I mean, you know what you're saying. But
yeah, who are you gonna pick? Which one?
It's so hard because honestly, I've been loving Azriel recently. Mm-hmm. Like I've really been loving him. But I'll go with Rhys. I have to stick to my roots, really.
Okay,
let's submit.
What? Who'd you get?
I got Rhys.
I got Rowan.
Oh my god.
It says, like you, he values his freedom and doesn't show his true feelings to everyone. He had a very hard past and would do anything to save his loved ones.
This one says, much like yourself, Reason wouldn't let everybody know his true self.
It had
valid.
Underneath it said, I had 71% though. My mate was Dorian.
That being said, go take the quizzes. I'll link them down below. You guys can then tell us who you guys are down in the comments. And with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the episode today about our all things the Massiverse. And go read if you haven't. Happy Crescent City 3 release. Yay. I hope you guys are enjoying your reads.
For listening, for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Leave your thoughts on all of these down below.
Yeah. Leave your thoughts as always. We would love to hear it. Yeah. And we shall talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.